Hello, everyone. My name is Dylan Rallis, and today I'm going to be doing a toolbox safety talk on the safety of a forklift. I think, from a general viewpoint, the main thing to focus on when operating a forklift is obviously to just know your surroundings before you approach it, before you tell someone to approach it, however you plan on using forklifts for the day. I know just from experience being in a warehouse, working in a warehouse for a few months, there's forklifts going around like crazy. It's kind of like a simulation. They're always around, so I know from an operating viewpoint that it's definitely important to know where the people that aren't on forklifts are. But obviously, if you plan to operate a forklift, you got to have your forklift certification first. So I would say that's the number one thing to know about forklift safety is know how to operate it first, because there's many different buttons, many different tools within it that you're going to need to know how to work each one in order to be safe on it. Next up, I would say make sure you're wearing your seatbelt. I think that goes without saying, but if you're operating a vehicle where you can get thrown around, jolted up and back, you want to make sure you're strapped in there, because assuming you know how you're using your forks, some loads are heavier than others. You might get tossed around a bit, so it's really important to have your seatbelt on. But that should go without saying, just like when you get into a car. I kind of already touched on this, but checking your surroundings to make sure there's no like hazards or chemicals that can spill while driving it too. Usually when forklifts are used, it's, in a warehouse or outside, I guess, in parking lots. But when you're inside, there's lines, kind of like a road for cars, but for forklifts. So stay within those, and at that point, nothing's really on you if something's in the way. But it's definitely to be cognitive, if there's a bottle of something you don't know or a bucket of something you don't know, because you don't want a chemical or a hazard spill when operating these. Your PPE should always be on, personal protective equipment, helmet. You very rarely see someone operating a forklift without a helmet on. So make sure you have your helmet on, and make sure you have your vest on too. It should be easy to remember, because everybody else that you're working with in that area should also have that on. But definitely make sure you as an operator have your PPE on. There's no need to go fast when you're operating a forklift. So definitely no speeding allowed. Most of the time you're inside anyways, so there's really zero need to speed. It just creates more havoc for everyone around you, and who knows what's in the way. It's not like you're in an all-terrain Jeep Wrangler, so your forklift probably is meant to go pretty slow. Definitely when unloading and loading things up, make sure you are handling your loads properly. Things are obviously heavier than others. Some boxes are going to be heavier. Some cans are going to be heavier. Make sure you are aware of what you are actually loading and unloading. Or ask, if someone asks you to come load something up, because you might tip backwards. You don't want any chances of that. So make sure you know what you are loading before you just run up there and start loading it. And finally, kind of just basic thing to know. Make sure, depending on how high your load is or how wide or whatever, make sure you have a clear line of sight above, to the sides, below. I mean, obviously it's going to be harder below, but make sure you're not just blindly driving, just looking at a box in front of you or something. Make sure you have a clear line of sight, 360 around you, and obviously if you're backing up, make sure your vehicle is correctly beeping to let people know. So that's all I got, and those are the most important safety concerns when it comes to forklift safety. Thank you.